Hello everyone. This is the technical demonstration of Top Builder Solutions Gaylor electric setup that we have put together for you, including how we set up your guest account in Top Builder and connected it to Spectrum. So what we're going to do is we're going to cover briefly how we set up your live Top Builder Solutions account, which also created um, obviously the account, but the login, for the administrator, and sets up a series of defaults for your opportunity statuses or your lead statuses, job types, priority, customer types, things like that. Um, and then we're going to show you how it also creates a sample action plan for you and sample branding. So real quickly, I'll show that to you. When we set up the account, and it's literally a push of a button, we have the primary administrator login. In this case, it's Sean Wilson. Okay, and when it sets up the account, you have all the defaults that you need to get started right away. And those defaults are the statuses for your opportunities, account types, opportunity types or lead types. Some people refer to them as job types, priorities, sources, things like that. We'll also set up for your accounts, ways to categorize your accounts. We create sample follow-up plans or action plans for you. And then we also create that sample branding, and we ultimately convert that to your brand, Gaylor Electric in this case. Top Choice Construction is our fake company that we use for demonstrations and for defaults. But we'll set up a whole bunch of templates for you, and those templates allow you to have different layouts, different formats for your emails. You even have a blank one, but you can see real simply if I just click on this, we have a real simple format for you. Or you can go into the more elaborate format here. It's really clean, and then we do all the styling, all the formatting of the fonts, the style, the color. We make sure these emails are going to read well in all the different email readers out there, including iPhones, iPads, any mobile device, um, along with Gmail and Yahoo or whatever else these things may use. There's special rules on how this needs to be set up, and we take care of that for you. And we also put links back to your social media pages or your website and things like that. And all those links are trackable in the system when you send out emails. Okay, so we did all that. And then you can change your defaults very easily from a worksheet that we provide. We provide an Excel worksheet, and we have a kickoff meeting where we walk you through that worksheet, and that's your opportunity to tell us, here's a list of users, here's how we categorize our customers, here's how we categorize our jobs, all the things that you want to set up in the system, including divisions or territories. We allow you to simply put those in a spreadsheet, and then our support team will set all that up for you. And then what we do is we have what we call an account review once everything's set up, and we walk you through how we did all that so that you can understand how to change it and everything. And frankly, all that stuff it depends on you, but it can take just a few days to get everything set up and customized, including your branding. Now, what we also do is we'll convert your data from Spectrum, and so all your customers in Spectrum will be pulled into Top Builder. Your contacts that are in Spectrum with their addresses, their phone numbers, their email addresses will be pulled in by what we call company code, or actually what Spectrum calls company code. So if you have multiple companies set up in Spectrum, we can do that. Now we'll also load your data from other sources such as Outlook, Excel, another kind of bidding system or CRM system. We will pull all that together and load it for you and organize it so that you have a database, one database of all your information, which is really nice. And that is part of our setup. We don't charge additional for that. Okay, so we connected to Spectrum, and The information, there's not a lot of information we need to connect to Spectrum. One of the things that we need is the company code or company codes that you use in Spectrum. And that's really easy to find. I logged in as Sean, and you can see up here in the upper right, C12 is Sean's company code. And I see there's a GG1 as well. But we use for the demonstration for the guest account, we used C12 because that's his default company code. So that's how we got the company code. And then we also have a worksheet that you fill out that provides all this information. I'm showing it to you right here. We fill out most of it, but you can see that we'll put in everything from for your firewall and your network to the IP addresses that we use to connect to Spectrum, so that you know that these are the only IP addresses that you need to open. We don't even give you a range. We were very specific about that. I'll go back to that authorization ID in a second, and here's where we capture the company code for you. All right, so we've got the company code in there. Now we need the URL for the web services. This is how we push information into Spectrum, or through their web services. All we need is a URL and an authentication code. And that's very easy to identify. Your Spectrum customer account manager can provide that for you. But the authentication code, okay, is found within Spectrum. And I'll show you real quickly. Go to Spectrum, System Administration, Utilities. There's a Data Exchange Download. And this is where you find those authorization IDs to allow you to authenticate or authorize yourself to connect to Spectrum. And in this case, we have Top Builder, TOPBLD. And then we filled out your worksheet with that. We've identified which tables and views that we need access to in your database. Okay, and here they are for the data exchange, and here they are for the data conversion. And these are read-only tables. There's a couple other pieces of information we need on how you want to categorize your notes for customers and for jobs. That's easy to find in Spectrum, and we give you very, very basic instructions on how to do that. We can show you real quick. You can go into accounts receivable, okay, data entry, and then I think it's, let me see here. I'm sorry, no, accounts receivable maintenance, and then customer note topics. Okay, there we go. And so you can create note topics. We have one for Top Builder, a very specific one for Top Builder, but you categorize your notes in Spectrum, and that's how we categorize the notes when we send them over to Spectrum. So that's how that part of it works. The setup of Spectrum is very easy. We did it in, again, less than an hour, including setting up the Top Builder account. The tricky part is usually around opening the ports in the firewall and making sure we have the proper access to the SQL Server database. But once that's done, everything else kind of falls into place. Okay, so we talked about the database and it being read-only. And then the next thing that we do is we configure the status in Top Builder on how we trigger that interface to Spectrum. And it's based on moving an opportunity or moving a lead into a certain status called job awarded status. And that zaps the information over to Spectrum. That's the trigger point. You can name the status as anything you want, or you can use whatever status you want. It doesn't have to be job awarded. That makes the most sense. But it could be something like construction started, and then you send the information over to Spectrum. Okay, so that's how that is done. And then we have the nightly batch jobs that update the customer history. And the customer history is the job history, financial history, invoice history, And if we hook you up to your estimating system or your bidding system, it pulls in bidding history as well. And that's done at night. It refreshes everything so that you have the history within 12 to 24 hours. It can be run more often, but as you can imagine, it's pulling in a lot of data because it's pulling it in for all your customers and then all the history. But that can be seen in the system. If we go into accounts, and I'm going to grab one of them that we have, and then we have the job history, financial history, and the bidding history all pulled in. Okay, so that's how the setup is done. Now, we set up, train you, and support you using our support team. We have a support manager. You'll have an account manager that is your primary contact, but we have an entire support team that will be helping you set all this up. We'll be doing the training, and then we'll be supporting you. We have daily training classes that are live. We don't charge for it. The only training we charge for is on-site training, and as you can imagine, there's an expense there. But that's it. We take care of you, and we help you set it up. And if you have any questions, we're here to help. So I hope you found this useful. If you have any questions, let us know.